We'll go ahead and get started with Tim Phelps here. And Tim, if you'd like to share us something a little going on at Driftwood and something that you think that everybody could take a little from.
Good deal. First of all, thanks Scott and Mr. Hutton for putting this together. It's a great deal. So I'll try not to bore you too much, but I'm going to talk about the importance of being memorable at a private facility. But more importantly, I think it's important, regardless whether it's private or public. Why is it important? I think we all want to be liked. We want our facilities to be desired, and we want to stand out. So, word spreads, and I think ultimately it doubles when the bad words spread. And an example that I like to use a lot is who's all been to a restaurant and the food was probably really good, service was terrible. You kind of go back and you talk to your friends and your colleagues, and you don't really talk about how great the restaurant was. You talk about how terrible the service was. And I think that can resonate in the golf industry as well. You could have a phenomenal golf facility, but if you go into the golf shop, nobody looks up, nobody looks at you. You make your way to the first tee, and it's just kind of sterile. There's really no energy. You're really not going to talk too much about how the golf course was. You're going to talk about how you felt. So that's kind of my little analogy on the food and beverage side. So some of the best practices that we use at Driftwood down just south of Austin is our goal or our flow of service is we try to hit everybody with a gauntlet of smiles. And I didn't coin that term. But as soon as you come through Driftwood at security, you're going to get hit with a smile first. You're going to meet our valet team. You're going to get hit with a smile. As you work your way through your whole experience, our staff does a really good job of really making you feel like you're welcome. And we kind of cheat a little bit because we're kind of led by a gentleman named Brent Buckman. Who knows Mr. B in this room? So if you don't know Mr. B, please come see us. I guarantee that you will remember him, and you're going to feel better about yourself after just a short visit with him. So Gauntlet of Smiles is something that we really live by, and it's simple, right? It's hard not to smile back at somebody when they smile at you. So, that's one of the best practices that we live by. And again, it has nothing to do with the quality of your facility. You could be, at a dog track in, out in the boonies with no grass on the greens or wherever. But if you're hit with smiles and great personalities, you're gonna want to go back multiple times as opposed to going to a phenomenal facility where you don't feel welcome the entire time you're there. And again, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but there's a quote that I don't even know where I found it, but it really stood out, and I would implore you to take it back to your teams, and this is one thing that my staff and I, we teach to our team, whether it's security, all the way through golf staff into member services and your food and beverage staff. So your smile is the first impression. Your personality is going to be your business card, and it's got to be authentic. Your personality's got to be authentic. I've been to some facilities, whether it was I worked for a hotel company, and I went to a few. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get in trouble, but so you can be hit with a smile, but there is something to be said for an authentic personality. You don't want it to come off robotic, so just lead with your heart. Be authentic. So your smile is your first impression. Your personality is your business card, and the way you make people feel is your trademark. So feel free to take that back to your teams. It's done, it works well with us at Driftwood. We live by it day by day, whether it's, coming through the gate at security, hitting the golf team, all throughout your experience at Driftwood. You're going to be hit with smiles. The gauntlet of smiles, as Mr. B puts it. and we're striving to make people feel better than they did when they got there, and then they can drive away and say, wow. And again, it's regardless of the type of facility you're in. So be memorable. Lead with your heart and be memorable.
Absolutely, Tim. Thank you so much. Our next presenter this morning, Andrew Peterson, coming from a slightly different facility type out of the Alamo City Golf Trail, heading into the public sector. Andrew, what can you share with us about what goes on at your facilities?
I'm just going to share a little bit about budgeting, because we operate 8 golf courses for the city of San Antonio. We essentially have a lease contract, because if I was a city employee, I clearly would not be qualified to talk about budgeting. What we've experienced the last couple of years has been challenging, and I say challenging because we've made so much money. And I think that when we were struggling, or not struggling, but breaking even or not making a lot of money, it was almost a little bit easier because the expectations were different. But we've been so successful the last couple of years that I approached our board this year and I said, you know what, we've made $4.5 million each of the last 3 or 4 years, and I said, I want to make 1.5 this year. And I was a little nervous when I brought that to him, because I thought either I'm going to be working in the line at McDonald's or I'm going to be picking range balls for somebody, because this is not really a Fortune 500 operating philosophy to cut your NOI in a third. But it was really trying to create an experience for the customers, because I think so much of my budgeting philosophy is about the long-term success of what we're trying to accomplish. And because we have this lease agreement with the city and we're set up as a nonprofit, so we can do things a little bit different, and it's allowed us to create a better customer experience and tried to create a better experience for our staff. And I'm fortunate, I got a couple of my teammates in the group today, and I think we realize that if we invest more into our staff from a budgeting standpoint, we get more in return. So we've been very blessed that the last number of years we've been giving multiple raises per year, and I think we've created a less hostile turnover rate with our team, and we've created a team that now cares more about that experience. So I think if I could just summarize what the budgeting philosophy means to me, and I won't speak to the blocking and tackling or the nuts and bolts KPIs and all that. I used to work for a management company that wanted to increase revenues 3% each year and cut expenses a year, and I'm thinking of 1% a year, and I'm thinking, how does that work? That's not sustainable. So we're obviously trying to do something a little bit different. So think about your long-term future of what you're trying to do. There's a life cycle to your golf courses. We have ebbs and flows in the business cycles. We want to think about our staffing needs and how we accomplish that. But it's gathering all the data so you can make informed decisions. It's collaborating with your team. It's certainly communicating. We all have to report to somebody at some point in time, and I think collaborating and communicating with that. And then you just need to get a little lucky, because it's a hard industry, but it's something we love and something we're chasing after. So make good budgeting decisions, trust in your team, believe in yourself, and get lucky.
Absolutely, Andrew, and thanks so much for bringing that up with the success golf's been seeing recently. Knowing what to do with your budgeting and forecasting is critical. Well, moving on, I think everybody who was here last night got the pleasure of getting to celebrate her award. So, Marcy, you want to tell us a little bit about what you have going on at Pine Forest Country Club?
Sure. A little bit about junior golf, and hopefully this is something we all do at our facilities. But whenever I started working at the club 5.5 years ago, came on board in June during the midst of junior camps and saw more juniors than I had probably seen at all the facilities put together at our club. And I'm like, so what do we do for junior programming? And the answer was kind of like junior camps. So, there was a huge opportunity, and I really fully believe that if we're not teaching juniors, that's the future of the game of golf. That's the future of the golf profession. Who are going to be the members down the road in 20 years, 30 years? and that's those kids. Make it fun. So we started doing after-school programming immediately in the fall. It continued to grow, so I started doing that. Next thing I know, every year I'm having to get another assistant help me teach more kids that are coming, so we had more classes. And it became a spring session, a summer session, a fall session, plus the junior camps in the summer. And so a year goes by, and so all right, let's add PGA Junior League in the summer. So now we'd bring a little competition into it. And then I started doing Operation 36 to kind of add another little level, and the kids enjoy that. The parents really love that. And then again, another year goes by, and what else are we going to add? So we just keep adding things. You know, the Junior Club Championship has gone from begging kids to play to, you know, we have lots of kids that want to play, and we have 5 age divisions, and we just kind of set the golf courses up for the age, just like we do little Linkster tournaments, junior tour events like that. So we follow those guidelines there and just get the kids having fun. Then last year we started a parent-child tournament because of it. So like I said, every year just trying to come up with something additional to add. And it's been a huge hit at the club. If you keep, as we say, if you keep mama happy, then, you know, the family kind of works better. And the parents will do anything for their kids. They'll spend a ton of money on them. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Whether it's Operation 36 PGA Junior League, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have there. But whether the kids just want to have fun and learn a little bit about golf, or whether they're aspiring to play on the high school team or collegiately, you just got to teach the kid to whatever his or her goals might be and see how far you can take them and have fun along the journey. Thanks.
Marcy, thank you so much. I thought I was going to have to shameless plug Junior League Golf and STPGA Junior Golf, but I appreciate you handling that for me in advance. And, you know, another great thing about our junior golfers is that's going to be the next generation to reset our ranks here and reinforce our ranks as PGA of America professionals and continue to grow the game. Well, Milana, last but not least on this first panel here, looking forward to hearing a little bit about what you have going on down at Herman Park.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Milana. I am the GM at Herman Park Golf Course in Houston, Texas. So fairly new to Houston. And so if you know anything about Herman, we're right in the medical district, next to the zoo, near 3rd Ward. So a very popular site. We get a lot of business on the range and a lot of rounds of golf. So when I came in, I tried to figure out what can I do to learn the city, learn more about Houston. So I was like, okay, I need to get involved more in the community. So my first thought was to get involved more when people think about Houston or think about that area, they think about Herman Park. So the first thing I did was met my city council person, started going to events hosted in the area around the golf course, around the facility, and just to get people talking about Herman. So the first thing I started talking about was instruction. You know, you meet people, oh, I didn't play golf, I've never played golf, or I want to play golf, perfect. We have adult clinics, Saturday at 1 o'clock. So start pubbing our clinics, start pubbing our junior golf clinics in the morning. Then I started partnering with organizations. So the first thing I did was partnered with groups that had ladies that were interested in playing golf. You know, so we had events for them. We did clinic series throughout the year, and just different things just to put Herman Park on people's name when they think about golf and think about that area. I wanted to create more activity. You know, we get the rounds of golf, but something just where it's all feel like there's something going on. So we had clinics, we had events, and we had tournaments come back to the facility. So just over the last couple of years, we've been having 50, 60 tournaments a year, you know, and so those numbers are going up consistently. Partnering with the section, we do PGA Hope, we do 4 STP junior tournaments throughout the year. Just different activity. I wanted to create the buzz. And so it's been good for me because I've met people since I've been in Houston just from going to these different activities. Every time there's something going on, I'm there. And I'm trying to get people to know Herman Park, what Herman Park is all about. It's just been pretty good so far.
Excellent, Milana. Thank you very much. Milana, obviously great tie-in to brand awareness there, and Micah Griffo, our speaker yesterday, and really shows the strength of marketing and creating those community relationships. Well, let's give one last big round of applause for our first wave of panel members. All right, well, our next panel is going to consist of our PGA of America members. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Katie Dillard, Glenn Childers, and Kyle Andis. All right, well, we're going to continue along that same trajectory. Each of our members will take a few minutes here to talk a little bit about what's going on at their club, and we'll get started here with Glenn Childers. And Glenn, you want to let us know what's going on at Memorial Park?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
All right, somebody hands me a microphone. First thing I want to say is everybody get to your carts. We're about to get started. But when Scott called me, he said all the good stuff's taken, so talk about your driving range. So here I am. As a disclaimer, looking from your end to me, if I'm sitting out there, I'm at Memorial Park, you're a bunch of lucky sons of guns that you got more money than God at times. We don't anymore because we have the Houston Open, and anybody that's been part of a tour event knows that's expensive. So we're fighting to make money to keep up, surprisingly. But we do have a great driving range. The Houston Astros came in, built an awesome facility. If you haven't been out there, please give me a holler. Y'all come out and play. Come check out the range. They built a double-decker. We got 80 spots on it now. They're still standing in line for mats, so we're doing pretty good there. Chuck Silva's our head pro, and he also runs the driving range. One thing we were talking about is that we find is having good mats, good balls. Keep working on our driving range machines, making them more efficient. Make sure the credit card systems work great. Seem like simple things, but just keeping an eye on the public, letting them, just watch them, use your stuff, use your machines and say, okay, I can make this better. We can do this better. That's kind of the stuff we do. We've been able to do more clinics. Chuck and them do a great summer program with juniors. The range has really helped us do more corporate stuff. We're talking a bunch with TrackMan Range. We're trying to get that involved so we can start getting apps work and try to make more money there. But it's tough for everybody to make, to know what you can do. Again, the better your golf balls, the more open you are. We use our websites to really talk to the public a bunch. If we're going to be closed, we got 25,000 emails that we send, and that really helps. If you keep people informed, they will. They're very happy about that. Nothing worse than them showing up, your driving range is closed, and you didn't tell them. It's just, we try to stay open as much as we can. A couple of crazy numbers I was going to tell you. We'll do this year a lot of money. We'll do north of 2.3 million. Number of buckets we sell a year is about 150,000 buckets of balls on average. That's about 500 buckets a day. It's just crazy, the numbers that we do. But it's a great place to work. I have the least seniority of anybody that's been there, and I'm 26 years in, so nobody leaves. So anyway, please give me a holler. Y'all come play the course. It's pretty neat. We're in great shape right now, getting ready for the Houston Open. We'll be open another few weeks. Driving range is great. So yeah, come see us. It's a great deal. If you got any questions on stuff, always help. All PGA pros always are great about helping each other. So yeah, don't be afraid to give us a call and come on out. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Glenn. Shining example there that the driving range can be more than just somewhere to loosen up the back before you tee off and can be a large revenue generator to the facility. Well, next up, we've got Kyle Landis here. Kyle, share us a little bit what's going on out at Blue Jack.
Yeah, so kind of piggyback on our first presenter, on the golf experience and customer service. Customer service makes up 40% or 46% of the overall experience that your customer has. And kind of like he said in the beginning, you go to a restaurant, you have good food, everything else is okay, and the waitress or waiter sucks. That's immediately a 50-50 toss-up whether or not that customer is coming back. So at Blue Jack, we really strive on a motto from day one, the interview process into orientation, everything. We really live by, the answer is yes, now what's your question? We're working to eliminate the word no from all of our employees. A lot of times, 9 out of 10, a no can be resolved some other way. You can find a roundabout way. Even if it's not exactly what they're looking for, you can come up with a solution that makes somebody happy. And that's when you're creating those wow moments within your members, your customers, and really driving home why people go to your club. Other than that, I don't really have much.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. You know, at the end of the day, we are a service industry, and creating those impressions are what bring people back out to the course day after day and get them to the clubs. Well, last but not least on all of our panel members, we've got Katie down there. I apologize, I can't make eye contact with you, but tell us a little bit about your programming out at Cordillera Ranch.
Hi, everyone. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about women's programming. As PGA professionals, I think it's important that we continue to grow the game, and it's evident that women's golf is growing at a very fast pace. The National Golf Foundation found that since 2019, women's golf has grown 15% compared to men's at just 2%. So that said, at Cordillera Ranch, we've always had some kind of women's programming, but it wasn't until we revamped our programs that we've really seen a uptick in participation. So since 2020, we have had 135 women pass through our programming. And our program is called Chicks and Sticks. What we found is there's a big difference between men and women in that women like to move more in a pack. So women's programming makes sense to them versus a lot of the guys would rather go do their own thing. We've also found that a lot of the ladies are going to bring friends out too. So most of the time, if you invite one, somebody else is going to come along with them. We also allow social members to attend our programming to widen our reach, and that's actually proved beneficial as some of our participants have actually changed from a social membership to a golf membership. The Chicks and Sticks program that we run one in the spring, one in the summer, and one in the fall, and they're roughly 8 weeks long. We meet for an hour, and we discuss a different area of the game, but there's always some kind of on-course component within the program. You'd be surprised the things that we find trivial. Most new women are really nervous about learning about, whether it be how to drive a golf cart, where to park, the layout of the golf course, how to book a tee time, handicaps. There's so many things that we just don't think about that are very intimidating, especially to new female golfers. We do have a very social aspect to our sessions. So we have a 10 a.m. session where we sometimes enjoy lunch afterwards, or the 4 p.m. session, which turns into about 2 hours of cocktail drinking on the patio afterwards. We have had to adapt our programs over the years. So as more families have joined the ranch, we have tried to ensure that our programs meet the final family dynamic. So we added the 10 a.m. session for our mums as the 4 p.m. session mixed with school pickup or kids' activities. So our morning group is mainly mums, and they've enjoyed meeting other mums and having lunch with them, and they've actually created their own playing groups from there. Some of our women use the sessions as a stepping stone into the CWGA, the Women's Association. Others just want to play with their friends or family, and some just like to come to Chicks and Sticks and have fun and drink cocktails, and that's totally fine. Some of the big impacts that we've actually seen from the program is an increase in women's rounds. More women are taking private instruction now than ever. We've had a large increase in women taking club fittings and purchasing their equipment through the club. We've had a lot more sales in women's clothing and kids' clothing. We've had 45 women join our CWJ, our association, our women's association. Food and beverage is getting a direct impact from those sessions. Our junior programs are filling up fast. Our junior program for the spring actually filled up in less than 24 hours. And we also found that talking to the ladies, some of their husbands did want a men's group to be formed. So in 2022, we launched the guys golf program, which follows the same format as the Chicks and Sticks. Corey likes to refer to them as our hackers and whackers. I don't think we could have quite used that in the marketing material though. But just one thing to kind of wrap everything up, I'll leave you with something that stuck with me from a PGA seminar that I attended as an associate, and that's what really pushed me to pursue women's programming. In most households, women tend to be the family schedulers. If they are involved in the game, it is more likely that the entire family will be, and golf will be a much higher priority to that family. Just something to think about. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Rick. Goodness gracious. Glenn, Kyle, and Katie, thank y'all so much. Give them one more big round of applause. Katie definitely hit on something there. Golf is a game for a lifetime and a game for everybody, and knocking down those barriers